name is Amara Wynn, and this is the author series Between the Margins, where I sit down with other indie authors and I talk to them about what their process is, talk about their books, talk about all kinds of things. You name it, we talk about it. More often than not, I read their books so that I go through and talk to them about what the process was. I interrogate them about their characters. I'll ask the questions that nobody else wants to ask because I don't mind, because I myself am an indie author. Right there. More Than I Expected is a book that is currently on Amazon or to order on all major book outlets. But you can't go to the store and buy it. I wish. But alas, here we are. It's also on Kindle, and if you have Kindle Unlimited, then you can get this on Kindle Unlimited. So feel free to check out my book. It is a modern romantic comedy that may not be romantic or funny, but I think it is. I guess we'll have to wait until we see what you think. Regardless, I am here. And I'm hoping that perhaps you will like and subscribe to this channel because it makes me feel good. I'm now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all those. So I would love to see you here or over there. It's going to be underneath Amara Wynn. Would love to see you. But the YouTube channel is new. But if you don't like to watch people's faces, which I don't blame you, let's be real. I had no water today because a water line burst outside of our house. And so I didn't get a shower like I wanted to. So hence the hat. I mean, I like hats, but that was not my intention today. So, yeah. But today's interview is with a really interesting guy. His name is John Bromfield. Bromfield. I'll have to find out because the interview is coming up. But we're going to sit down and talk about a really interesting book, which is basically his life story. And I cannot wait to learn more about it. In the meantime, me and my ginormous sweatshirt here are going to get comfortable. So let's go ahead and quit listening to me talk, get my book, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And let's go ahead and move on to John. Thanks. My name is Amara Wynn, and I am so proud to sit here today with John. And he has written an amazing book, and I'm going to actually, for the first time, let someone introduce themselves. John?
Thank you, Amara. Well, my pen name is John Bromfield. My real name is Colin Donnelly. I'm introducing myself as myself rather than my pen name because I wrote under a pen name to protect other people from the trauma and tragedy that was intrinsically linked to my story, not to hide my own identity. So, yeah, just looking forward to talking about the book with you today.
Now let's hear about your book.
Sure.
Because if I start talking about it, I'll start getting teary-eyed. So you go ahead.
Sure. The book's called Tides of Resilience Beyond the Wave. And it is the story of how I survived the 2004 tsunami. But it's a lot more than that. It's a story about mental health. It's about addiction, recovery, friendship. It touches on all of those aspects. And it started out actually as therapy. A lot of people had said to me, you should write a book. And then a therapist said it to me. And then another therapist said it. And I thought, well, maybe there is something in my story. And I started writing it for myself and I couldn't stop. I found myself writing every day for probably 3 years. Actually wrote 300,000 words initially. And then someone said to me, actually, a book is about 100,000. And I was like, oh, if this is going to be a book, I've got a lot of work to do. So I kind of then had to step back and take out the stuff that wasn't completely tied to the story arc, and found that the whole journey was incredibly therapeutic, maybe even more so than the therapy sessions themselves. So for me, it's been an incredibly rewarding journey. I'm throwing it out there in the world now, and hopefully it might help someone else who's been through something similar.
I used to work in the mental health field, and so I know that I've worked with counselors who always told people the best thing that you can do is write it down. And I've always done that. I mean, my book was kind of my therapy, but I can't even imagine that must have been freeing to be able to write it all out, to be able to see it, and then also distance yourself away from it as you were writing it.
Yeah, eventually, I think as someone that's read the book, you can probably see it takes me a while to get to the story. But I think that helps build context. Initially, I was avoiding revisiting those memories and processing them and writing them down. But yeah, eventually when I got to it and was able to go into detail and process it, that was great. I realized early on that I couldn't write it as myself because I would have to talk about other people and what had happened to them. And I didn't think it was fair just to do that without asking them. And then I quickly found that writing as John, almost a character, it allowed me to be a little bit more honest, I think, with myself and really ask some questions that I might not have been able to if I was talking to someone about what happened to me.
That makes sense. Now you survived. This was in 2004, right?
Yeah.
So you basically survived like one of the deadliest natural disasters that have happened in our lifetime.
Mm.
But your book really does make it clear that despite that disaster happening and you surviving through it, that was not the hardest part.
Yes. Yeah.
When did
That
you
that was
realize that your story wasn't really just the tsunami itself, that it was, but what came after?
yeah. Not till closer to the end, to be honest with you. Maybe even writing it. Maybe even
Gosh.
writing it down, I realized, oh, actually, I've been suffering post tsunami way more than the event. The event itself was over in moments, and as traumatic as it was, I almost didn't think during it. It was just a survival instinct, and before I knew it, it was over. The aftermath itself on the island, the 24 hours of survival, was definitely more traumatic than the wave because there was death and devastation and a lot of decisions to make in that period. And then I quickly shut it down. I survived. I walked away without a cut or a bruise, which was almost incomprehensible.
That's amazing.
So I quickly ignored any mental health damage that may have done. I mean, back then in 2004, it wasn't exactly a topic of discussion anyway.
True.
And then I followed a path of drink and drugs and ignorance. And before I knew it, I'd led myself down a really dark path. And luckily, I found my way out, but it was more luck than judgment. I don't think I ever really made a decision that said, look, I need some help. I think I was forced into it. And then by sitting down, writing down, I realized exactly how deep I was in.
Can you tell us about what happened that day? Do you mind, Amanda? That's probably for those who have not read the book, those who may not know a whole lot about it. Before we move into the trauma and the PTSD and all the addiction and coping, can you tell us about what happened that day?
With great difficulty, probably. So
Oh,
I'll
you don't
try
have
and
to. You don't have to.
yeah, I'll do kind of a little overview
Yeah,
without kind of
overview, just for the ones who don't
it
know.
can be quite disturbing for me too. So yeah, I was on an island called Koh Phi Phi in Thailand, which is a really small island off of the coast of Phuket. It was the day after Christmas. I was there with my girlfriend at the time and some friends that had travelled with us. We'd been out partying as you do on Christmas Day, so we'd been up late. I woke up hungover, and we made our way down to an internet cafe. And while we was in the internet cafe sending home Christmas messages, all hell broke loose, for want of a better word. People started running and screaming, and there was lots of loud noises, and we didn't know what it was,
I
and
can't
we didn't
even
know whether to
imagine.
run or hide. And in the end, it was like, well, everyone's running, we should run. So we ran, and quickly there was water around our feet. I didn't really see a wall of water because we was one street back from the ocean. So it was more like the wave had probably hit the buildings in front and then was like kind of washing in. I turned a corner. My friends were running ahead of me, and I quickly realised my girlfriend hadn't run with us. She had frozen on the steps, and so I turned and had to run back through the crowds and through the water to grab her. And then the water got quite violent very quickly, and it washed us away. We were forced into a fence that kind of got up to my neck. Managed to stand up and lift her up as well. And then the force of the water took us away, and we was kind of battered and washed around. I won't go into too much detail because I
Yeah,
don't
no,
want to
you
give
don't
too
have
much
to.
away, but I eventually got washed into a shop, um, which was slowly filling up with water. There was other people in there as well, and had to kind of take a breath before the room filled up completely and swim down and find a way out. My girlfriend followed me out, and then we kind of helped some people onto the roof. And at that stage, we'd escaped the tsunami. We was kind of sitting on a roof. Water went down, and then a second wave came in, and we had nowhere to go. We was on like the only level on this island. Luckily, it didn't come up any higher than where we were sitting. And then it went down again. And then we had to make a decision that, look, we've got to try and get to higher ground, because if another wave does come, we'll just be out to sea. And then the kind of escape, and the next 24 hours were just about surviving post tsunami. And there was lots of different elements that happened then, which I'll leave to the reader to discover.
Yeah, we don't want to give away too much, but let me just say out the
Yeah.
gate, if I ask any questions that you don't feel comfortable answering, please tell me. You don't have to answer anything. And
Sure. No, and you know what? I want to try and answer them. I've been encouraged to talk about it. And that's really a big point of the book, is to talk about it and maybe show other people that it helps to talk about trauma rather than bottling it up. So, yeah,
it's
let's do it.
okay, good. Okay, because I've thought about that after I told you I had no filter.
Mm.
And if I'm thinking it, I'm going to ask it. But what an inspiration to just have you sitting here today, because you didn't, after reading what you've been through, you didn't have to be sitting here today. Things could have gone very
Thank
differently.
you.
So,
Yes. Yeah.
what an inspiration.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say so.
Well, it's the reality, and I only tell the truth. So, you do talk about, and I think a lot of people have this notion that surviving the storm, surviving the tsunami would be the end of the story. But we know that for you, that was not the case. What did survival really start to look like in those years after? How did we get from, okay, now we're coming off that island, to that this is when my next story starts?
Yeah, I think it was coping mechanisms in the interim. I was kind of very ignorant to having any PTSD or any kind of mental injuries from that day. But I quickly veered into alcohol quite seriously. Heavy binge drinker at every opportunity. Kind of quickly grew from weekends to almost every day, and hard liquor, not beer, really. So that became my crutch, really. I suffered with nightmares quite a lot,
I bet.
and I eventually found my way into weed, which had the effect of shutting off my dreams and also quieting down that hypervigilant mind that had
Sure.
developed. So you can imagine, after going through one of the most random things that could ever happen to a human, my mind was then on hyper alert, looking for danger in the most normal of situations,
Yeah, that makes
which was
sense.
completely exhausting. So the addictions really were driven through calming that mindset down and turning off the dreams and numbing down most of my emotions and feelings. Really, I was a bit like a zombie floating through the subsequent years.
In your book, you were really honest about your struggles with alcohol and with drugs. At the time, I know it felt like an escape, but did you know on some level, when even though you were numb to the experience, that it was just making things worse?
Um, Not really. I would justify it. I would justify it as self-medication. I'm not taking pills. I'm not, seeking help. I'm just doing things that I know I need to level myself off. And then I was very ignorant to the consequences of that and all of the negative impact they had on other areas of my life.
This is such a random question. What was harder, surviving the tsunami or getting sober?
Getting sober. Like I say, I didn't have to think about the tsunami. That was kind of instinct, and it
Yeah.
happened, and I did it. Getting sober had to be a conscious decision. For a long time, I thought the idea was absurd.
Oh,
I
I
thought the
imagine.
idea
I
was
mean,
wrong.
I'm
Yeah,
sitting here imagining what it would be like to be going through that and then having to go back to reality.
mm,
How hard that's got to be.
yeah, yeah. Especially after 20 years of
Yeah,
drowning yourself in substances that
that's a
have
long
kind of
time.
created a different reality almost. And I come from a culture where it's encouraged. It's not respected to not drink. I think it's changing slightly now. So for a long time, I didn't even entertain the thought that it would even help me. And then I think it was sober October or a dry January. I did one once, mainly because I'd gone too hard. I think a New Year's Eve party. So I ended up not wanting to drink or touch any drugs for about a week. And then I kind of pushed on and pushed on. Then I couldn't wait to start drinking again. And it was that kind of downward spiral again. And then the next year I went a little bit longer. And then I didn't even set out to go sober. I just stopped drinking one day and I never started again.
That's so inspirational. Now you've done some traveling and some
Yeah, some you
adventure
could say, yeah,
and
yeah,
some chaotic energy out there in the world.
yeah,
Was that part of your lifestyle sort of masking the seriousness of what you were going through?
yeah. I think so because prior to the event, I was like any normal kind of mid-20-year-old who would have a good time, but I was quite serious in other areas of my life. And then afterwards, I kind of just became a little bit reckless. And I suppose the subconscious was, I could be dead tomorrow. What's kind of, you know, why hold back?
Live and let live,
Live and let live. Yeah.
which is not
One
always
time
the
death.
best motto to have, but
I had fun though
that's what I
for
was
a
going to say.
while.
Did you have
Don't get
fun
me
doing
wrong.
it?
Yeah, I had a blast. Yeah, I had an absolute blast. And I don't regret any of it. I just think,
Good.
it should have been maybe more controlled and I should have made better decisions at times, but it wasn't all bad, right? I had great friends and we had some great times. Um, but, it's time to clean yourself up
How, do you mind me asking how old you are?
I am 48.
So yes, it's time to.
It's time to grow up a little bit,
At
right?
some point, your knees give out and you can't do the same.
Yeah, it's not a good look, is it? Collapsing at a party because your knee's gone.
As someone who's your age, I'm like, yeah, I get it. My
Yeah,
knees, my back, it all hurts. I'm just too old to
yeah,
do that now.
yeah, exactly. I was talking about that today. I don't know. I can't remember a time when it didn't all hurt, Amara, to be honest.
There's something like I just woke up one day and realized this is the way it's going to be from now on. And
Yeah,
I don't remember it. I don't remember what it was like to not feel that way.
exactly. It's just the norm.
It hurts my feelings. Now, you do talk about PTSD and your trauma. When
Hmm.
you're talking about the PTSD at first, when you're looking back on it, what were some of the signs that you missed besides the alcohol, besides the drugs? What were the signs of the PTSD that were sneaking up on you that you just missed?
Anger.
Okay, yeah,
Anger was the main one. Yeah, I was just like on a hair trigger, very volatile, especially when I'd had a drink,
that
especially
makes
because then I
sense.
was kind of not in control anyway. So I could get a bit angry and then it could end up in violence as well. And then, I used to black out a lot as well,
Ooh,
which never used to happen. And then at some point I would drink and then just wake up the next day. And with those anger and violence issues, that became incredibly risky.
yeah, that's dangerous. Well,
Absolutely.
a lot
Yeah.
of your book sounds dangerous.
Yeah. Right.
Like I said, I'm just amazed that you're sitting here because
Yeah. No, me too. Yeah. I'm,
you didn't
I'm, I'm
have
very
to.
happy every day now. Right.
Yeah, and so and there was a moment in your journey where everything kind of just explodes. Do you think that people need that kind of breaking moment before they accept help?
Speaking from experience, I think so. I think part of the addiction is convincing yourself that you don't have any problems. Right. It's a big part of it. So I think sometimes hitting rock bottom is a wake up call and a reason to be better. I think we all need a reason to be better. And if you don't have those reasons in your life, then
You're
even
just
rock
gonna keep
bottom
going. Yeah.
won't help. So I think it's a combination. For me, it was rock bottom and having a reason to be better.
So and you had therapists, apparently more than one. Um,
Modern,
and they played a huge role in your healing, which is
yeah.
great. Was there a moment in therapy where it just kind of clicked?
Yeah, yeah. It was the second round of therapy. So the first time I wasn't interested at all. A doctor had said I should go. I didn't believe there was anything wrong with me. I believed I knew better. I kind of barely listened. I went through the kind of mandated dates that I had, and then I walked away and went straight back into my addictions and my own coping mechanisms. But second time round, I kind of felt a bit more of a bond with the therapist. And it was very difficult to start talking about it. I hadn't really spoken about it. And as soon as I started, the way she kind of listened and helped just encouraged me to keep going. And I think somewhere in there, I accepted that, oh, this is important and I need to be completely honest, like I've never been before.
God, that must have been hard.
yeah, it's incredibly hard to speak about things you've never spoken about and have someone analyze them. And, I'm not ashamed of anything that happened during it or embarrassed. It's just a very strange thing when you've locked memories down for so long to open them up and then have to examine them in finite detail and stop and then go back and look at them again.
I can't
And the
even imagine.
hardest part is talking about what emotions you were feeling at the time. So
Oh,
taking yourself back to 2004,
who wants to
sitting
talk
on a
about
roof in
emotions?
Thailand, right? After the wave has gone, what are you feeling? It's kind of hard. It's kind of
Yeah.
hard.
How do you
But
even put
she
that into
was,
words?
right. And that's what I struggled with. It's incredibly difficult, but she was patient and she helped. And we kind of rooted out some emotions and some feelings and some shame and guilt and reasons why those emotions exist. And yeah,
Which which kind of you mentioned that you came from an environment that like drinking and stuff was the norm, but you also mentioned that you grew up in an environment where emotional honesty was not the norm, that you did not talk. How did that shape the way that you handled trauma? Was that what kind of, I don't talk about it, so I'm just going to start spiraling?
yeah, just lock it down, right? Get on with it. I'm strong, don't need help. I can deal with anything.
That's
I don't know if
that's a men's mental health issue, by the way, that
yeah,
we don't talk about.
yeah, 100%. It's terrible. I've grown up with it where we don't talk about our feelings, our emotions. We're told to man up,
Yeah,
put your
man
big
up, don't
girl pants
cry.
on, don't cry. Yeah, get on with it. Um, so I kind of did. It's just how I've been brought up. And obviously, being from a rough part of London, kind of how I was made in a weird way.
Yeah, I think
So
a lot of men are made that way, and it's
yeah,
why do you think so many men in general struggle with talking about, besides the fact that they were brought up that way, especially in an environment now where we're trying to encourage mental health conversations, which we know is happening across men should talk, as Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Why do you think men still struggle talking about it so much?
I don't think men like to be vulnerable, to
Oh,
be
that makes
honest.
sense.
It's a weird feeling. I know we
Yeah.
don't like to be seen as weak, and but I think it's the vulnerability that is really, really hard. I mean, what I have noticed since writing this book is that people are opening up to me.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, so I think because I've been so honest with my feelings and my struggles, and the reason I was is because I'm thinking you might not have been through a tsunami, but most of you have been through something like this. So, you know, we should talk to each other. We should talk to each other and help each other where we can. And it's been really nice, actually. People that I've known for a very long time have opened up to me. People that I don't know that well that have read it have opened up to me. And it's a new thing that I'm adjusting to, that people are being so honest with me. And I feel quite privileged that they feel that they can share stories like that with me. But maybe it's a start. Maybe people will start talking to their loved ones and, being honest that we're not
You're
all
making
okay,
me love
are we?
you. My heart is so, you're making me love you. Ugh. Okay. If a man is listening right now, and then we'll move on. If there is a man listening right now and there's something going on in their life who just refuses to ask for help, what would you tell him?
You must have someone close to you that you've known for a long time that you can trust that they've been through something similar to you. And actually, they probably need to hear it as much as you do. And you'll probably find you'll help each other.
I wish more people thought like that. If people would, nobody is an island.
Mm,
Nobody
yeah.
is an island.
Yeah. But most of us live our lives like we are.
That's
Yeah.
and that's me 100%. It's just
Mm,
easier that way.
easy.
Uh,
Yeah.
Nobody wants to face the things that they've been through. Now, I'm gonna go back to the tsunami just for a moment, but and how you wrote it. When you were writing those scenes, did you have like a change of, I imagine how you saw that day after and then turning around and re and writing it happening. Did your relationship with that day change?
No,
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine.
no, not really. It's been like a movie in my head forever. I can see every moment of that like it's happening in slow motion. what I wanted to do was try to take what I could see in my head and make it so that the reader could feel what I felt and went
We were
through.
there.
And that was hard. That was hard because I had to write that over and over and read it again and change small parts to try to capture the intensity, the danger, the panic, the fear, like every part of it. So going there was difficult. It would put me into a different place. And
It was
I think
hard to
anyone,
read. I was there. I was there in my head. It was so hard to read. And I couldn't, as like I said before we got started, I kind of forgot that this was a real story. And then when
mm,
I finished it, it was like you close the book and then you realize this is someone's real story. And then you go back and you think about all the things that you just read. And it humbled me.
oh, okay.
It humbled me because I mean, we've all been through things, but you put me in it. And I was stressed reading it, so I can't even imagine what it was like living it.
Yeah, yeah. If, like I say, the living it was easier because
Easy.
it was over. The 3 years I spent writing that in small snippets because I've got a full-time job and a life and I've never written anything before. So to all of a sudden pick up a hobby that you're kind of in the spare moments in a coffee shop surrounded by people making noise and trying to put yourself into a headspace, it was incredibly challenging. But I'm glad I took the time to do it
Me too.
because I'm proud of how it's presenting itself because although it's a memoir, I'd like to think it is kind of genre bending, almost
It
like
is.
it's cinematic. It feels more like a movie
I
with
saw it
any
in my
luck.
head like a movie.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was hoping for because um, that's what it's like to me. It plays over in my head too often.
And I hate to ask this, but I imagine that survivor's guilt is a real thing.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
Yeah.
It's horrendous. That's been the worst part for me. I've felt guilty from the moment it ended. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I can't
I
even.
probably shouldn't. And I've been told I shouldn't because I've got nothing to feel guilty for, but I know I could have done more.
You're that, well, everybody's telling you that you should be happy that you survived and you should be
Yeah.
grateful. But yeah, survivor's guilt
Yeah.
is no joke.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't really even consider it. Again, it was a part of the therapy where she spoke about survivor's guilt and called me a victim, which was a huge shock to me. I never knew I was a victim. I didn't ever feel like a victim, but it's quite clear that I was a victim of a tsunami. So, okay,
We could
not
go with
surprised there's
survivor.
consequences then, right? Yeah, survivor. And that's the word I've been using more.
That sounds
I
better.
didn't like the word victim. And you probably read that part in the book where I kind of focus a little bit on that. But maybe I did need to hear it at the time to really start to understand the gravity of the situation I was in.
Yeah, there's movies about this and they're traumatizing to watch. And I know that there are some people who were born like before. I'm old. We're the same age. So I know that there's people who've never ever heard of this. But I do want to ask you about your actual writing.
Hmm.
You write in this very raw and immediate, short, punchy, kind of chaotic way. Was this intentional to show your mental state?
Yeah, yeah. Because of the heaviness of the subject and the scenes, it needed to have breathing space. So I wanted to make it short and punchy, but inadvertently, I think I mentioned earlier, I ended up writing 300,000 words and it was condensed and it was heavy. It all accidentally happened. Like I didn't know how a book should be structured. I didn't know how many words it should be. And I was editing and I was reading it and it was too much. So as I had to take it down to 100,000 words, it gave me the time to go through and create that space in each chapter and lose things that weren't important. And the end product after that round of editing is so much better than the wordier version. But initially, I had to just get all my thoughts and feelings and what happened. And it's only kind of reading the story that I could pull out events and scenes that don't really tie to my story here of disaster, addiction, recovery, etc. Um, because there were a lot of stories across 20 years, right?
I imagine. And I was actually
Mm.
wondering, was there one story that you wish you had included?
Um, no, not really.
Okay.
Not really. Yeah, no, I don't think anything would have added um to the story. Um,
I mean, it's already good.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, no, I think sometimes too many stories could have been distracting. For me, it was a trip down memory lane, right? I was remembering some of the greatest days of my life and some of the great things that happened. I mean, I had to drop a whole continent. I had chapters and chapters in South America
Oh,
of
wow.
stuff that happened, and there's probably some stories that could have made it in there from a drug standpoint, but yeah, I'll leave that to the imagination. It just wouldn't have added to the story. So at first, it was like I was losing bits of the book, but then I realized I wasn't. I was carving out the story. So now I'm very happy that I lost that amount.
So your book kind of moves through timelines and these memories. Was that intentionally mapped out, or did you just sit down and just write?
So it was intentional in full, but not mapped out.
Okay.
It was something that I started right. I wanted to write using therapy as an anchor, and then using that to dive out into the different experiences that relate. I just started writing and went with my gut instinct as to what should go next. And sometimes I would take a chapter and push it down 20 chapters away. Or as I was reading it through, that doesn't fit there. I need to move that. Um, so, yeah, I wanted it to jump around
It,
but not be incoherent because it's
yeah,
my
it
story.
wasn't.
So as I was doing it, I was like, okay, I'm jumping from 1987 to the tsunami and then back to this. This could make no sense to some people. I know what I'm trying to say. Um, and that was one of my fears when I first gave it to my friend and my wife to read was like, is this just going to be craziness that's just poured out of my brain? But
Yes,
pleased, yes,
but
but
beautiful craziness.
oh, I'm glad you said that. And it makes sense, right? Although it jumps around, it's not so crazy that you can't follow the story. I think it gives space from the darker periods to be able to visit some fun times that are not just there for fun, they also add depth to the story. And,
Yeah,
and
you
I
use
want to say
humor,
character, but it's not a character, is it? It's me.
right? So you're
Yeah.
acting like it's not you.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it was a character. And
Yeah.
what I appreciate is that you really did use humor in some really unexpected places. I
Yeah.
wasn't
And that was a
expecting
risk.
to laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just my humor. It's kind of, I don't know if that's been one of my coping mechanisms, but I've want to be humble and say I've always had a good sense of humor, but I'd
Be
like to
humble.
think I was had a good sense of humor. I love comedy. I've been brought up in a world where we're sarcastic and use dark humor, gallows humor all of the time, and that's who I am. So I didn't try to force anything in. It was just what I was thinking as I was writing it, and it was like, okay, I'm going to share those things.
As someone who appreciates dark humor and always uses humor in situations where I'm uncomfortable, I appreciated it. I was actually kind of, I mean, I wasn't expecting it, so it made it a nice little change of being like very
Mm.
intense. It was like being on a constant roller coaster and then having a breath whenever there was some humor. When you were working on this and when you were using the humor, which we know is a part of your personality, was that a way for you to kind of bring in lightness, or was that just like, okay, this is just who I am. I'm sticking myself in here. You weren't intentionally trying to bring lightness into the story, were you?
No, I didn't set out to write it in any certain way just to get the story down. And then I found that the jokes were just in my head
They
or the
were funny.
references were just in my head.
You were
And it was
funny.
like, well, thank
It was
you. I
such a
appreciate that. That
traumatic.
means a lot to me, actually. That's more
I,
important than the survivor side.
there you go. We don't need you to survive. We just need your jokes.
Exactly. Yeah.
They were funny. And I wondered when you were, because, and this is, I'm not even sure if I should ask these questions, but my brain goes wherever it wants to go. When you were writing it and you're looking back and you're seeing the fun times and you're seeing the humorous moments and you're seeing the some of the best moments of your life, do you think those memories are shaped differently because of trauma?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know that I've ever been asked it or considered it. Um, I suppose it would be hard for them not to be tainted by the trauma. So maybe you look at them slightly different. I never felt that they were, um, but possibly, yeah,
Yeah.
possibly.
I imagine that because I always think as someone who's been through some traumatic things, I think I always tend to remember them a little bit differently to try to make it not so hard.
Yeah, well, it's the problem with memory as well, right? Your memory is only the last time you remembered that event, you know. So I
It's
think
true.
all of our memories kind of a little bit made up to a
Yeah, they're
certain
all
extent.
faulty.
Yeah,
We just
definitely.
make shit up as we go along.
Yeah, yeah, and who knows, right? Only you can tell how it is.
That's so true. Now
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask about the relationship. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so the relationship did not survive. What
No.
happened? Did and of course I'm sure that trauma changes who you are. Was that one of the big factors of why it didn't last?
Yeah, I think so. We were just very different people afterwards. Like you can't go
I
through
can't even
something like
imagine.
that and not be damaged. So I think initially it drew us together, but then ultimately drove us apart. But with no animosity, I think we were both in the realization that it wasn't right for several reasons, and she was brave enough to kind of call that out, which was yeah, incredibly courageous to be honest with you. So um, it kind of led us both down our own paths. Um, yeah, so nothing but respect for that.
How did this experience with her, with what happened, how did that affect the way that you connect with people now?
Um, Honesty, I suppose. I try to live every day as honest and as true to myself as I possibly can be, with integrity and just trusting people and being someone that can be trusted. Um, that's who I want to be. And I think I found that all my relationships are better for it.
This is me falling in love all over again. Just
Yeah.
falling all in love. You're amazing. I am going to ask a couple of hard questions. You describe your years of denial. I am a huge fan of denial myself.
Mhm.
I think it's great. If you could go back over the past 20 years, um, would you change anything?
No, because I wouldn't be sitting here right now living a life that I couldn't have dreamt would ever happen to me. So no, because who knows where I would be with even one small change. I think there were lessons I needed to learn. Um,
Yeah.
and as painful as some of them were, I think they've been worthwhile.
And do you have a wife
I do,
and a
yes.
child?
No, just a wife.
Just a wife? You have any
Yeah.
dogs?
Just a dog, yeah.
That's your
A
child.
Boston Terrier, that is my child, yes. It's enough.
And have you spoken with her about what it was like?
Yes, yeah. She was one of the first people that I explained the whole story to. We were together for a number of years before one night over dinner, we was out in a restaurant. Kind of came up somehow, like sometimes it does through a weird scenario. And she kind of said, you've never told me. And it's like, huh, because I never used to realize that I wasn't talking about it.
Right.
There's a way of assuming that people just knew what had happened because they knew I was in a tsunami, but that was all they knew. So I told her over dinner, and I think, yeah, that was one of the first times I walked all the way through it. Found myself crying without even realizing I was. Just when you revisit those emotions, it's difficult to not be like that. And that was really the start of my recovery. I owe it all to her, really.
How did you meet?
We met at work, actually. In 2006, I think we started working together, but didn't get together to a number of years later. Accidentally at a work party, we started talking, and it's kind of gone on from there. So, uh,
Okay, well, if she ever bounces, let me know.
well, you better not watch this because you will be in trouble.
I'm sure my husband in the next room is going, really?
Yeah, right. Come on, I can hear you.
Was there, okay, so you said that your recovery wasn't neat and it wasn't linear. What does your recovery look like on a day-to-day basis now? So I can get away from the conversation of stealing you away from your wife.
Yeah, sure. it's structure,
Yeah,
it's consistency, it's small battles each day. I feel kind of fortunate that I don't miss it. You know,
that's
my
good.
life's so good now, and I feel so much better than I ever have done before, that my recovery isn't every day going, I've done another day. I don't even think about it,
Oh, that's good.
which is rare, I think, because a lot of people struggle.
Daily.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, not saying that that might not change in the future and I might start getting cravings. But at the moment, it's been the best thing I've ever done. And I am buzzing off of being sober and alert and present and um, hopefully enjoying more to life than just laying on a sofa, eating Doritos, drinking vodka.
Like sometimes those are good nights. Maybe not for you though,
Like
because
they were also awesome. It's through the lens of hindsight, not so productive.
true, true.
Yeah.
Was there ever a point that you thought I can't come back from this?
From the drinking,
Yeah, all the
I,
spiraling.
yeah, I thought that was me forever. I thought,
Okay.
okay, I can live like this forever. I've got what I need. This is it.
Sad.
Oh, yeah, really sad. But in that mindset, that's all I needed. And that's why I think I'm buzzing now off of the sobriety because of how full my life is.
You really are an inspiration.
Thank
I
you.
kind I kind of think it's
That's
disgusting, to
now.
be honest with you.
Yeah, I should be ashamed, shouldn't I?
How dare you be
The job I
happy?
can access guilt really quickly. So,
I'm going through, I'm a horrible person. Um, is there something about trauma recovery as a whole that you think that people misunderstand?
yeah, you don't know you're traumatized.
Ah, it's so true.
Don't know you're traumatized until you finally realize. And then you go, damn, how didn't I see that? It's so obvious.
This entire time it's been staring me in the face.
Yeah. And that's why I think most people have got a level of trauma in their life.
They
It
just don't
hasn't
know
got to
it.
be a huge natural disaster. It could be anything that affects your behavior every single day because you haven't processed it. So I can't recommend talking to someone enough. And I never thought I would say that. It was uncomfortable. It was difficult, but it can get great results if you're open to it.
What does your best day look like now in comparison to your lowest point?
Oh, they're night and day.
I bet.
Night and day. Yeah, my best day now. I'm fit. I'm healthy. I'm married to the woman of my dreams who makes every day worth living and better than the last. Um, I get to travel. I live in the USA now, which would never have been um, anything that I would
In
consider would
Texas,
happen
right?
to me. It was Texas. I've recently moved to Charlotte.
Okay, it's
So
hot as hell in Texas.
that's why we moved to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Although I hear it's going to get hot there, it's got seasons. So
Yes, it
it's,
does. It does.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
So
in the
no,
South.
Texas. Oh, you are, yeah? Whereabouts?
I'm in Alabama.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
not from Alabama, but I live in Alabama. And we have the seasonal bipolar in Alabama where it was 30
Mm,
degrees yesterday, but it will be 80 degrees on Saturday.
yeah, that's a nightmare.
Yeah, you know what? Where I live is beautiful. I'm just going to say that, but the weather is trash.
Yeah.
It's, it's like freezing, freezing cold for 3 weeks, and then it's hot for the rest of the time. Like, if you could just keep me an honest 60, I'll be happy.
Yeah, that's what everyone wants. Unfortunately, we had to live in 120-degree Texas for a couple of years, which
Yeah.
initially coming from the UK, we was like, oh, we can handle that. That's no problem. We just want the sun. And then I realized that I couldn't go outside and had to just live in air-conditioned rooms and cars for the majority of the time.
Yeah, my husband lived in Texas, and I'm like, okay, I don't even want to drive through. I mean, I've been there. I'm good. I'm good.
You know
Arizona,
what?
Texas, hot.
No, I do it a disservice. I had a great time living there, and I wouldn't change that part either. But we're over here working and trying to see as much of the country as possible. We did a lot of traveling while we was there, which, as you know from the book, it's a huge passion of mine.
You do have a
And
very big passion for traveling. I actually love that
yeah,
for you.
so now it's the East Coast. So yeah,
There's
that's
some
looking like
beautiful things to see.
yeah, I can't wait. We've got some road trips planned, and yeah,
And I mean, you've got a long life ahead of you now.
yes, yeah.
Do you
Now that
have
I'm
any
not drinking
long-term
myself
health
to death.
effects from the?
I don't know. I don't think so. I had a few medical tests done, and I was amazed
That
that
you were healthy?
yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
I I remember queuing up at the doctor's thinking, oh, this is going to be bad. And but at the time I was kind of in the midst of my addictions, and it just validated, oh, okay, well, it's okay to carry on living
I
this
can
way.
keep on going.
Keep on going. This is obviously the cure. Uh,
You said that
you know,
you couldn't find stories that reflected what recovery looks like, so that's why you decided to write this. Would you be open to writing more again in the future?
uh, if
Say
the
yes.
inspiration takes me, yes,
Say
yes,
yes.
absolutely. I mean, I want to write more because I found something that I'm really passionate about. As hard as the book was to write, I looked forward to writing. I loved every minute of it. I couldn't wait until I found the next time to write. At the moment, I'm not writing and I'm missing it, but I don't know what to write at the moment. I've
Maybe you
obviously
can
got a
find
lot of,
somebody else's story to write about.
yeah, I've not considered that. That could be, yeah, that could be a good angle. Absolutely.
Because then maybe you
Other
can bring
than,
your humor and stuff,
mm,
and I really like your writing style. I like the chaotic energy. I because I appreciate that because I'm the same way. So as someone who has like a bad case of ADD most days, it was like it flowed a lot better than upon first looking at it, I thought, okay, this is going to be chaotic. But
mm.
it flowed so well in my head that I thought it would be a shame if this man didn't write something else.
Oh, well, I want to, so maybe just finding someone that would let me be chaotic with their life, because it was okay to do it with my own.
That's
You know,
true.
there were times when I was dropping humor in there that I thought only I would get. A lot of the reference points were stuff that, if unless you're from my generation, it might pass you by. So I had to be mindful not to overload it with things that would then just have people going, I don't know what this guy is talking about.
Yeah, that's where I really like that you were so brutally honest, but I actually related to it a lot more than I thought I would. And I didn't expect that, and I mean that in the best way possible. I I could I could see myself in a lot of the chaotic spirals that you took. And so it was
Yeah,
nice to be, and I got a lot of the references, so that made it easier. But I did wonder if this would be something that like someone who was younger maybe able to relate to. And then I realized that there's all kinds of trauma that's still happening, like
yeah.
all the school issues and just the pandemic. There's so many things that people have gone through. It doesn't have to just be someone who is relating to a natural disaster. It could literally be anything, because that isn't really the whole point of the story.
Yeah, and that's what I realized quite quickly actually is that it's probably very relatable to a wide demographic
It is.
because there's so many people that will have an aspect of it that they will latch onto or feel like they're looking in a mirror. Um,
Yeah, I felt
so yeah,
seen, by
that's
the
been a
way. I didn't
surprise.
appreciate that. I felt seen.
Yes, yes.
Rude.
It's a consequence of the book, unfortunately. Right? I think we're all a little bit more similar than we like to admit.
No, I'm not. I'm an angel and I'm perfect with no mental health issues.
Absolutely, yes. This book is not for you then.
This book is not, I didn't relate at all. Not at
Yeah.
all. It was so good. I really hope you consider writing something else. You know, you could write fiction.
Yeah, I that's really the path that I'm considering going down.
You
I just I
should.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the stage at the moment where I kind of wrote this last year. I didn't know that I wrote it to be a book. And then people said you should release it. So I did. And now I'm in this place where I've done that, but it feels unfinished because I haven't managed to let people know that it's out there.
Yeah,
Like I say, I
I
didn't
will help you.
write it to sell it. I just hope someone reads it and it affects them positively. So I want to do a little bit more of this and I want to get the message out there and maybe then let it go and see what it ends up being. And then I can maybe turn away and start writing something fiction.
The
So I
hardest
think
part is getting it out there, right? It's so
oh,
hard.
it's so hard. I underestimated that. Well, for the most part, I didn't think about it. And then when I did think about publishing, I thought, oh, okay, I'll just do this, and it'll be done. And it's like, oh, right, this is worse than anything I've ever imagined.
Can you, when I was writing, I mean, I've been writing off and on my whole life. And when I finally decided it was time for me to publish, I honestly thought I could publish it. People would see it, they would read it, and that would be it. And
Yeah,
I had no idea that I was going to have to play the social media game. I had
yeah,
no idea.
yeah.
And it's for me, and I'm noticing for a lot of authors, the hardest part.
Yeah. Yeah,
I,
definitely. And I'm trying to learn at the moment. Um, I'm starting to try and have fun with it instead of using it like I'm trying to sell a book. So at the moment, I'm revisiting every chapter and doing like a graphic novel style approach to it with a
Ooh,
soundtrack, because I don't know, you probably saw as well through the book, music plays a huge theme.
huge part. Yes.
In that first draft that was really huge, it was littered with like Easter egg lyrics throughout the book, because as I was writing, lyrics of songs would just come in. And then I realized that you can't use lyrics, there's copyright issues. So I kind of strip them out. So I'm learning. But ultimately, music played such a huge part that I'm now kind of pairing albums and songs and just having fun with the Instagram side of things, because I don't really like going, hey, here's my book, please buy it. Because that's not why I did it.
Same. I'm the same way. And I
Mm.
told somebody else this recently. If you're look, you're out there, you're being seen. Just quit caring so much about what everybody else thinks and just have fun with it. And
Yeah,
if you're not having fun with it, then what's the point?
absolutely. And I will say the community of people that I've met online just in the last 3 months that are all supporting each other, all sharing tips and trying to help each other is phenomenal. I've never
I
actually
was
come across
shocked
it
by
in
that.
any other. Yeah, yeah,
I was
it's been so great.
stunned by how supportive people were. Because I told, I think I was talking to someone, was it Holly Ray I was interviewing maybe last night?
Mm.
And I said I was convinced it was going to be a lot more um, competitive,
Yeah.
but it's not.
It,
They're the most supportive people who will lift you up.
yeah, the total opposite. And actually, it's been worth writing the book to experience that, because it's been so rewarding.
Let's be real. You could just get on there with your face and your accent and talk, and people are going to want to read the book.
Yeah, I hope so. So if you haven't read it, please read it.
You're adorable. You've got a good voice. You're happy. You can tell that you're happy. The story is very intense, but you came out on the other side. You can just sell yourself and somebody will buy. Look, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of American women out there who just love the accent.
Well, maybe now that I've revealed myself, it might help me sell the book a little bit more. Because up
Maybe we
until
can
now,
find you some stalkers.
yeah, why not?
You're the one who revealed your real name.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, could we go back? Could you maybe
Nope.
blur
It's
me out and
not.
I'll still
Nope.
go under the pseudonym, please? Maybe
Nope.
I'll
We're
live to
out there. And
regret
now
this.
we know
But
your name. It's written on the screen. Um,
yeah, and you know what? The book is really about honesty. So I didn't really want to carry on behind the John Bromfield thing. That was really something that I used to help me write it and to protect other people. So yeah, here I am. Please don't stalk me.
I have a feeling your wife would probably cut a hoe.
Oh yes, very
Okay.
quickly.
And that we're not trying to get cut.
Absolutely.
And how long have you been married?
We have been married for 10 years this year.
I'm so proud that you got your life together.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for saying that. It means the world to me as well. I never thought it was possible. And then I fell truly in love with the most amazing person. And she has helped me every day. And I now want to be better every day for her, really. She deserves it.
That's me falling in love again. You are amazing. Your story is amazing. I hope you write something else because I will be the first one to buy it.
Oh,
Um, I've read a lot of books by indie authors and I've read some great ones. This was so raw and so real and funny, shockingly enough, that I'll read whatever you put out.
oh, thank you. Well, I'll keep you posted. It's definitely something I'm thinking about. Like I say, now I'm navigating this social media marketing world.
You have
Um,
time.
yeah,
And
I'm
three
soon
years
going
is a
to,
long time to write a book. You got to have a break.
right? Yeah, yeah. It got to the, you know what it's like when you're editing and editing. It gets to a stage where you've got to go, okay, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, I
Because,
spent the last 3 months with because I have an editor that I don't pay because I don't want to,
hmm,
and because
the
we've been
best ones.
friends for a really long
Hmm.
time, and I'm like, we've been friends, you owe me, and all we did for 3 months was fight. So
Really?
yeah, because he was like, this is too much and this is too much. You need to remove this. But I was convinced that I knew everything. Now, looking back and reading it, I was like, yeah, he might have been right. Too late now. It's
Yeah.
already out there. So let's just have fun with it.
Yeah, I didn't consider anyone else for this. It was such a personal project
I
that even if
wouldn't.
I got it wrong, I wanted to be the one to decide what was said and how it was said.
It,
Um,
which was
so I'm
the
glad I
right
did that with this
move.
one. but I don't know that I'll have the energy to do that again. So
It's a lot.
um, it's a lot, isn't it? It
But
is,
maybe it's
especially when you're
different when it's
working.
not your personal story.
Yeah, potentially. With this one, I couldn't let go of it. I couldn't let someone say to me, "Don't put that in there," or "Don't say that way." It was just I needed to get it out. If it was in the book, it's because I needed it out there.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. It was like if it's in here for a reason. But yours was so great. I'm so glad that you took time to talk to me today. I was so proud to read your book. I hope that lots of other people can find it and read it. You are an inspiration, and I'm not just saying that because you're sitting in front of me, but I, having worked in the field of people doing recovery, have seen plenty of people who have not come out on the other side. And having been through what you've been through and coming out on the other side and recognizing and talking about men's mental health, which is not talked about enough, and coming out and being married to a beautiful woman and you're happy and you're going to go travel and continue to see the world. I do want to know about the South African stories. So if you want to pass those my way,
Yeah.
that would be great. You
Yeah,
are an
there's a raw
inspiration.
draft, but if it ever gets out, would be quite eye-opening, I think.
No, I want that. You have my email. Just go ahead and send
Yeah,
that over.
absolutely.
You are an amazing, amazing human being, and I'm just glad that you chose to talk to me. I will make sure that we know where your book is. Do you have a website by any chance?
I do, yes. It's johnbromfieldauthor.com.
Okay.
That's also my Instagram handle, if that's what you say. I'm new
Yep.
to this.
I think. Sure. I'm too
Just,
old.
yeah, just put it up on the screen or something in the
It'll be
editing
on the
suite.
screen. Your book cover will be on the screen.
Yeah,
Your website will be on the screen. I'll put the book description down in there. And it's all of these are going up on Spotify and Apple Podcast and YouTube. So hopefully we
amazing.
can get
That's
somebody. If
incredible. Well, thank you for choosing me to be one of your guests,
you
and you
were so
kind.
great.
It's been an incredible experience for me. Like I say, I'm new to talking about this, um, and hopefully I'm articulating it well enough because
You did.
it's a lot. It's a
You
lot.
did. I was scared to ask some of
Mm.
the questions, but you were very open. And please tell your wife, despite the fact that I have fallen in love, I'm not gonna, I don't want to get cut.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stalk. You're just so sweet. Yeah, let's get your book out there. Let's see if people will read it. If for no other reason, just to understand that trauma is a real thing and should be addressed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really important message, and that really is the reason this book exists. So, if just one person picks it up and it changes their life, it will mean everything to me.
It changed mine, and I wasn't
Well,
expecting it.
there you go. It's a start. That's great.
That's something. And I'm passing
Yeah.
it on to somebody else who I know needs to read it.
Oh, and that's what I want, really. I want it to be passed on by people rather than me promoting it. Just someone saying, "Look, you need to read this." I think that's the way I think this book needs to exist.
Word of mouth is going to be the key, and I know plenty of people who need to read this. So I already have a plan to gift one and send it to somebody, and then I'm going to let someone borrow my copy. So you'll maybe get a
Amazing.
couple of sales from people.
Like I say, I'm not bothered about sales. It's more about people reading it. So
Well, you got
share
a
it.
big boy job. That's what matters.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. I don't need it to survive on, and there are plenty of authors out there that do, who do need the sales. So, yeah, if this book just gets passed around dog-eared and people take a message from it, then that would mean more to me than the couple of dollars that I might get from Amazon.
To say that I annotated it would might be an understatement.
All right.
And I've never annotated a book before in my life.
Wow.
But you
Wow.
had some things in there that I wanted to be able to show somebody else. So
Okay.
you
That's
did
cool.
exactly what you intended to do.
Wow. It's good. It's hard putting yourself out there like that and then getting some kind of validation back. So thank you for saying that. It's
Like I said, it was my
yeah,
honor. It was
yeah.
my honor. Yeah, it was really good. I said I don't cry during books, but I cried. I don't like that, Colin. I don't like that.
Okay, I'll try to keep that out of the fiction and just keep the humor instead.
Yes, please. Your humor can sell
Yeah,
you enough. That would, yeah, it was. And I
yeah.
was telling my husband, I was like, so you know that big tsunami that happened? So I'm about to interview somebody who lived through that, and I don't even know how to control myself because I just read it and I cried. And he was like, "Is that why you were crying last night?"
Thought I'd upset you. It's not me.
He was like, "Well, I feel a little bit better about that, but all right, well, good luck." It was whatever you were intending, you nailed. So I appreciate your book. I appreciate you. And now I can call. Are you going to change your name on Instagram to Colin?
No, I'm not. I'm going to keep it as John Bromfield for the book purposes. And now I am on Instagram. I've got kind of a travel account that I do with my wife. So I was kind of keeping that separate. Whether it'll all merge into one, I don't know. I'm not really thinking this through, to be perfectly
You're
honest. I'm
literally
just
just winging it as you
riding the
go.
wave, as they say, right?
Whatever you decide to do, please keep me updated because you can consider me a
Absolutely.
fan.
Oh, thank you so much. And me too. This has been an incredible experience. I think what you're doing, working with authors and spotlighting them is so important. So thank you for
I
everything you
think
do.
so. I don't know if
Yeah.
everybody else thinks it, but I'm enjoying it, and that's what
No, I
matters.
guarantee they do. Absolutely. It's really special.
As soon as this goes up, I'll send you the link and you can go back and see how adorable you are.
Oh, I always thought I'd look good on screen.
Colin, you were great. John, Colin, whoever you want to go by, you
Yeah,
were
Colin,
great.
obviously, to you. Everyone else can still call me John.
Okay. Oh, I'm special.
Yeah.
And now anybody who watches this is going to know you as Colin, but you can't call him that. It's just me. Just me and the wife. Ah.
There you go.
All right, Colin, thank you so much. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you for writing your book and spending time with me tonight.
No, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was so great to meet you.
You were great. Bye.
Take care. See you.